For me in kindergarten, I feel that there are many opportunities to do read alouds, whether it's transitioning from one activity to the other, during like morning discussion, circle time, at the end of the day, getting them to settle down before lunchtime. I feel like you overall have more of an opportunity to do read alouds when it comes to younger grades, opposed to as they get older. With that being said, I don't mean like it's not important that you do read alouds as they get older, but overall, I feel like there's more opportunity to do them. With kindergarten in my classroom, I would say do read alouds at least almost 3 to 4 times a week. Whether it's during a activity like a math introduction where we're reading stories about things that introduce numbers, or it's during like a science activity and we're reading more about insects because that's the interest that they have, or we're doing read alouds for the Bible, etc. Like it's very open-minded, I feel, in kindergarten, and there's more opportunity for that rich learning opportunity, opposed to it being more curriculum structured with textbooks and stuff for the older grades. In our classroom, when it comes to read alouds, we do tend to use a lot of open-ended stories that allow for students to make connections, make predictions, culturally diverse, and accessibility in terms of books that are more related to students in terms of their appearance, their disability if they have any. So overall, with that being said, in my classroom, we have like a little ledge on our board, and those are the books that we tend to want to focus on during that week or the month of, along with some books that are more approachable for students to grab from the bookshelf, that are also diverse or multicultural. And with that being said, with those books that are geared towards those aspects, there's a lot of more enriched vocabulary. Students are having the opportunity to make a connection of, I know what autism is because my cousin has it, or have that opportunity of discovering more, what does hibernation mean, or migration. Students also can elaborate more on immigration and make connections towards that. And if students are stuck on the specific word, then we look it up as a class with Siri, and they're the ones who ask the question with the mic. So it's more student-led. And that's a really key point that I like to have in my class, that it's overall student-led and it's more of students do opposed to the teacher doing most of it. In terms of how I make the space for students' conversation and contribution, is we do a prediction of what we think will happen in the story based on the cover page and the title. Students are able to make connections of high frequency words and see, I see that popcorn word, or I think this is what the story is going to be about based on the picture from the cover. We do also like a little picture walk of the book, of what's inside, and making also those connections. We also have cues in my class where we're like, I have a connection, or I have an idea, or that reminds me of. So as we're reading, students can do those gestures, and then we can pause and elaborate more on those ideas. And then at the very end of the story, we also do overall conversation of what did that story remind me of, what type of key ideas that I have from the story, or connections I may have from my personal life or from another story that we may have read in the class. And at times, but prior to reading the story in the class, I'll even look over it, and then I'll remind myself, or like my teaching assistant and I will discuss further, and we're saying, oh, let's put a sticky note to a specific question that perhaps we want to elaborate more, and that's when we'll stop to have that more rich conversations as a whole.